Hey guys, it's Archon. Welcome to Inferno Friday. Today I want to talk to you all about the console version of Diablo 3. As a lot of you guys know, the console version came out on Tuesday, September 3rd, and I picked up a copy with my brother Dreadnought and our friend Grim, and we played for about 24 hours straight on the live stream until we finally got to level 60 and killed Diablo on Hell difficulty, and it was a lot of fun. So I just wanted to tell you guys the pros of the console version, the cons of the console version, and then maybe help you guys decide if you're going to be picking it up. So I would say the big pro of the console version is what they're calling Loot 1.5. This isn't Loot 2.0. It's not quite what we're getting in the expansion, but a lot of the changes are there. A lot fewer items drop. The items that do drop are much higher quality. Both the yellows and the legendaries are much higher quality than you would see on the PC version, and a lot more legendaries drop. We got our first legendary in Act 2 on normal, and then we got a few more in Act 2. We were getting a couple legendaries per act. Whenever you kill Diablo for the first time on a certain difficulty, you automatically get one legendary per person, and like most of the loot, it's tailored to your class. The loot was so good, in fact, that we actually found each difficulty getting a little bit easier than the one before it. By the time we got to Nightmare, our gear was so overpowered that Nightmare was actually easier than normal, and then Hell easier than Nightmare, Inferno even easier than Hell. So it seems like if they're going to make the loot this good, they might want to increase the difficulty as you go up. As soon as we got to Act 1 on Inferno, we started getting level 60 legendary drops. These are mostly the same legendaries you get while you're leveling, except for they're way better. In the first few act clears, Dreadnought got a 1400 damage Bolcathos, and I got a 1300 int Echoing Fury with a socket, and it had like 250 int on it, just rolled naturally. That was an extra roll. The legendaries are just way better in Loot 1.5, and I imagine we're going to see the same thing in Loot 2.0. The other thing that's in Loot 1.5 is that any legendary can drop at any level, and it's tailored to that level. So there's a lot more legendaries in the pool of possible legendaries that can drop. We've gotten several puzzle rings at different levels. On a side note, Josh Mosquera recently sent out this tweet that said Loot 2.0 is coming, and this caused a bunch of nonsense on the internet, a bunch of speculation, people saying, oh my god, Loot 2.0 is about to come out. They're about to release it right now. Josh Mosquera just told us. Well, that's not true. It's not all what Josh Mosquera meant, and he probably should have been more clear because that's incredibly misleading, but Lylira did clear it up. What she said was that tweet was in response to whether or not the loot improvements changes seen in the console version of Diablo 3 would be coming to PC. The answer is yes, that many of those improvements changes will be coming with Loot 2.0, which actually inspired a lot of the updates to optimization for the console. As of the tone of Josh's tweet, think Game of Thrones. He was going for a play on Winter is Coming. So Josh kind of misled a lot of people that were reading that. It doesn't look like we're getting Loot 2.0 any sooner than we anticipated before. It should be coming out in the pre-expansion patch, along with Paragon 2.0 and a few other small things that you don't have to pay for. The pre-expansion patch, I imagine, will come out about the same distance before the WoW expansions. In World of Warcraft, they always have a free patch that comes out with the expansion. It usually comes out a few weeks beforehand. I think it'll probably be the same for Reaper of Souls. I don't think it's going to come out months beforehand, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Account-wide, Paragon is already on the console version. Paragon 2.0 doesn't exist yet, but all the Paragon levels you get will apply to all of your characters, as well as the stat bonuses you get from that. Another pro, of course, is that you can play with 4 people all on the same console. This is cool for 2 reasons. 1, you don't have to have a copy of the game for every person playing, and 2, you can just chill on the couch with your friends and play Diablo. I thought it was really cool just to be able to hang out on a couch, holding the controller, not have to sit there in front of a computer. I mean, I love PC games, and I have to say I'm very used to Diablo on PC, so it feels a little bit better for me, but I don't think it actually is any better. I think the console version is just as easy to control. Some of the skills are a little weird to aim with, like Blizzard, ones that you're going to cast in a certain area instead of on a certain mob, but it's not nearly as bad as you would think it would be. A lot of these things that seem like they're going to be really hard to translate into the console, I think they did really well. There are a few things that are definitely easier on the PC, but I'll try to cover those in the cons section. So let's get to the cons. Definitely the biggest con is the inventory and skill management. Anytime you want to look in your inventory or go through your skills, you have to take up the entire screen. It pauses the game, and the rest of the players have to wait for you. Now, if you're doing online play, if you're on your own console playing with other people on their own console, this isn't an issue at all. You do your own thing, you have your own loot, you can teleport back to town whenever you want to, but when you're playing together, you have to do everything together. Now, I don't really mind watching my friends go through their skills and their inventory. I like to see what kind of loot they get, but this might bother some people, and it does interrupt the gameplay a little bit. It took us a bit longer to level because we had to take up everyone else's time when we wanted to go through the skills and inventory, but we did end up doing it a lot less, and they've put in a lot of features that make it so you don't have to go into your inventory that often. When you pick up a piece of gear, it tells you if it's an upgrade on damage, health, or protection, so usually you know if you can just drop it. You don't have to take up inventory space, you don't have to go through your inventory, you can do it without doing that. When you're playing on the same console, you do have to stick together at all times. So if someone goes into a cave, everyone immediately goes into the cave. If someone teleports back to town, everyone gets teleported back to town right away. It might sound kind of annoying, but it was actually kind of nice that we were able to stick together, in fact forced to stick together all the time, because when I'm playing on PC, we get split up all the time. I never know where anyone is. It's nice that we all have to be right next to each other all the time. And if you try to leave the screen, if someone's going this way, someone else is going that way, or someone's just standing there while the other two people walk away, it'll cause the third person to just start walking with them. So very frequently while we were playing, one of us would be like, oh, I'm just going to the bathroom. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to drop out. You don't have to have your friends wait for you. You just leave your controller and you'll just go naturally with them. If you get stuck on something, you immediately teleport to them. And it feels really good. If you're one of the people playing with your AFK friends, you don't even notice. You never get dragged behind. You never get stuck on anything. They just automatically follow you. It works really well. I guess some of these cons are starting to sound like pros. The difficulty levels on console are actually a little bit different than the monster power on PC, but still the same idea. You have easy, medium, and hard, which are similar to MP0, 2, and 4 respectively, and then you have masters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is the equivalent of MP 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But the thing that we notice is it doesn't seem like you actually get more experience or better loot when you go to medium or hard. And if you read the description on the console, it doesn't say anything about better loot or experience until Masters 1. Now, we haven't really tested this yet, but some people have confirmed through chat, which is sometimes reliable, that medium and hard don't actually give you any better reward. And if that's true, I think that's pretty dumb. Because right now we're going through Inferno, and we're going through on easy, and we just face roll everything. We couldn't die if we wanted to. Everything dies in one hit. We would love to turn up the difficulty, but if we do, we'd have to go up to MP6. And as you know, in Act 1 and 2, going through MP0 to MP6 is a pretty dramatic change. We don't have the gear to do MP6 yet, but it wouldn't make sense to go to medium or hard if there's not an increased reward. So we're face rolling easy until we get the gear to do Masters 1. Other than that, there's just a few small cons. Sometimes when you're going to pick up gear, it's a little tricky and you pick up pieces that you don't want to pick up, or there's things you want to pick up but you can't get to them. The same thing happens on PC. It's just a little bit worse on console. And then there's a few small bugs, but nothing really serious. There's some sound glitches that I think some other people were also experiencing, where the sound cuts out from time to time. And as you can probably see on the screen, player 2's Paragon experience bar just never shows up. I assume other people have the same problem. Yeah, they still get Paragon experience, it's just the bar never fills in. So again, just small bugs, things that aren't really that big of a deal. Overall, if you're satisfied with the PC version of Diablo 3 right now, and you don't mind waiting till Reaper of Souls for these changes, then I would say just wait. You don't need to get the console version. It's nothing new. There are a few improvements like Loot 1.5, but you're going to get those and a lot more in Reaper of Souls. However, if you're like me, you're a little bit bored of D3 right now, you want something new, you want to check out this Loot 1.5, and you like the experience without the auction house, where you're basically playing forced self-found, and you can play with some other friends on a couch, then pick it up. I think it's totally worth $60. It's something to do while Reaper of Souls is coming out. If you guys want to check out me, Dreadnought, and Grim playing some console version of D3, please stop by my stream or Dreadnought's live stream. Both of them are linked below in the description. Before we end this video, let's do our weekly 50 million gold giveaway. Each week I randomly pick one comment below, and that person wins 50 million gold on EU or US. Last week's winner was Sean Rat Go Blue, and he said only Blizzard fanboys get into betas. Alright, well, if you win the 50 million gold giveaway, all you have to do is come on over to Twitch and let me know through chat, or more likely through a message. I'll have you prove it's you on YouTube, and then I'll get you your 50 million gold as soon as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it'll help you decide if you want to buy the console version of D3 or not. Please stop by the live stream, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll have another one for you soon.